Hello there, folks, and how is it going? And oh my God, look where we are. We are home. It has been too long. It's been about 2 years since I've been home in Ireland, but it's been probably about 3.5 years since I have been out here on the west, and it is magnificent. Windy and magnificent, but I'm not stranger to wind, as you know. Wow, look where we are. We are all the way over in Achill. I spent the last 4 hours just driving, and to get here to Achill and to embrace this mighty coastline. So, welcome to the Irish road trip. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I am on my own for now. Senior Spielbergo is back in Dublin still, just catching up with some work, and then she is going to join me later. So fun times shall be had. But for now, I am here and I've just made some coffee, and I am going to have a bit of a scout and see if I can find a good location for this evening's sunset. Not that there might be much of a sunset, but we'll get on anyways. So it is wild and it is gorgeous. So let's fire on. So I have retreated to the shelter of my van, and now there was a sea stack that I noticed on the drive, and I am going to see if I can find a route to said sea stack because it looks wonderful. And if I can get down low, I don't know if I can, but we shall find a way nonetheless. But first I need to change out of these clothes. This is all driving clothes, and I need to put my boots on because there's lots of sheep, which means lots of sheep poo. So let's lace it up and let's get going. Oh man, I didn't realize I was going to be able to get this close to the edge of the cliff. It is absolutely spectacular. I really hope you can see what's going on behind me here, and I have found this marvelous composition. Thankfully, I'm only literally just like stone's throw away from the van, which is awesome. The tide is on its way back in, which is all good because I would really like for these rocks down here to try and be a bit covered if they can be. But other than that, this is incredible. This is like really incredible. I'm gonna go back and get my gear and take a couple of test shots and keep our fingers and toes crossed. I don't know what we're gonna do about light. If it happens, awesome. If not, don't worry about it. I'm just thrilled to be here. It is phenomenal, beautiful. And all the times I have come through here, me and Orla have come to Achill Island a bunch of times. And I never parked here, never walked to this cliff edge. I was over this hill behind here. I was over there, I've taken pictures there many times before, but never actually came here to that sea stack. And I have no idea why I never did that. And very unlike me, but here we are now. So this is awesome, let's get going. So right now I'm just wandering around taking a few different test shots. It's always good to work a scene just when you think you've got, a really nice composition. It's always worth your while having to wander around with the camera in your hand. And standing right here now, it's precariously cliff edgy, but there's a wonderful view to these sea stacks that are out here by themselves. So I'm going to continue on a small bit around, see if I can just get a more straight on kind of view looking, be like cliff edge, sea stacks, and then just horizon. So let's have a wander a bit more and see if we can find some. So there is quite a nice view just around the corner there that I found, which is really nice. So if we act fast when the sun sets, we might be able to get a couple of pictures in here, which would be wonderful. There's actually slight less breeze over there. Breeze, do you hear me? It's wind. Slightly less wind over there. So fingers and toes crossed, we were able to manage and capture a few different images of this particular scene. But as it stands now, I think I'll just head back to the van and eat something real quick because it's pushing on, and 10 to 6, and a couple of hours anyway before the sun sets. So let's go grab something to eat and get back to it. So that was a good dinner. We got some new gas cans and some new pots, and they worked very well. And I managed to take a few pictures of some birds while I was sitting there. I hope they turned out, which I'll pop up on the screen for you. Classic ASMR photography lab style. But I am on my way back out here now to this spot, and I'm going to set up, and the clouds have moved in. If you can see that behind me, a fair bit. But nonetheless, we are here to take photographs, and photographs we shall take. And I left my beanie back in the van. But it's still gorgeous, and it's starting to rain now too, which is also wonderful. I'm going to pop up the bird pictures if they worked, and if they didn't, then I'll probably see you in a second. Okay, bye! Welcome, friends, to the ASMR Photography Studio, and welcome to this absolutely beautiful country. First, we shall enjoy these happy little birds that were having a beep, 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 a wander around the van, and were so curious. I was so thrilled that they got so close to me and I was able to capture these images, which I really love. Now, the question I pose to you all is, what kind of birds are they? Because I don't have a clue. I really need to polish up on my bird knowledge, considering I photograph a lot of birds. It's one thing that's so wonderful about waiting for your kind of optimal time to photograph at the location that you have selected, is to take advantage of everything that's around you, whether it be fleeting light, time lapses, or in this case, photographing the lovely little birds that are bouncing around and all happy with life. The second image I think really is my favorite out of the two. While I love the kind of motion in the first one, the light in the second image is just so much nicer. And he's peeping over his little shoulder saying, yep, yeah, I'm here, this is me, you're taking a picture of me, that's all good. But what a wonderful, wonderful experience it was to photograph these birds while I enjoyed my dinner and waited for the evening to stretch on. So this is really, really fantastic. The light rays coming through the clouds are really, really beautiful, and the sea stacks are just working out so well. It's pretty windy though. I'd really love to take a long exposure, but it's too windy. I really can't. I'm going to try though. So, you know, if any of these pictures here that I've just taken turn out to be any good, sure, I'll pop them up on the screen and we can have a look at them there now. And I'm going to set up and see if I can take a long exposure. So fingers and toes crossed. This is amazing. This particular location has a multitude of compositional opportunities to be had, and I am super glad that I took the time to explore and wander around the cliff edge. Now, albeit it is quite a steep cliff edge, so you must be careful if you do visit, but really there is some wonderful opportunities to take advantage of. While I did ramble on about trying to do some long exposures, needless to say, none of those worked out at all. But what we do have is this wonderful image that I managed to capture with the beautiful, beautiful sea stacks, and of course that magnificent light as it broke through the clouds. What a wonderful, wonderful first image to photograph here in the beautiful west of Ireland. I am thrilled with how this one turned out. So I've actually moved back to my original composition, the first composition, and it's really gorgeous. The light is really starting to peek through, so I really, really hope these pictures turn out well. There's such beautiful light on the water. It's so windy though. I don't know how any of it's going to turn out, but sure, look, we're having a good time anyways. It's great fun. I forgot it. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. I'm going to continue to fire on, so if any of these pictures turn out to be any good, I'm going to pop them up on the screen for you and walk through you now. But I hope you can see that there is a bit of light starting to pop through now, so I better be quick and take advantage of it. So let's keep shooting. So just when I thought things weren't going to work out for me, they absolutely did. And I am so grateful to the landscape photography gods for this one, because the light breaking through the cloud just is the cherry on top, and the beautiful golden light kissing the top of that water is just so magnificent. For me, this overall composition really works just because you've got that really strong foreground element that balances then with the sea stacks off to the right, and of course then those beautiful sun rays in the background. Super duper happy with how this one turned out. As you can imagine, it is a blended image because the dynamic range was obviously quite large, considering I'm looking pretty much at the sun even though it's hiding behind the clouds. But I did bracket the exposures just to bring in the sun rays and balance the frame as much as I could. But overall, really happy with how this one turned out. Where I ended up sleeping, I popped up over the sand dunes to see this gorgeous beach, and of course then this magnificent rainbow off in the distance. It was one of the strongest rainbows I've ever seen, so I was thrilled that it was there, and I ran back to get the camera and managed to capture this image before it faded, and really love the color in here. It's so beautiful. So folks, what an absolutely fantastic evening that was. It is now the next day, and I really hope the picture that you would have just seen, the rainbow, worked out, because if it didn't, then I saw a rainbow and it was really nice. But I am in Achill still and gonna hit the road after this to head on to a different spot. But for now, just gonna wait for the rain to stop, and then I'm gonna go for a quick run and make some coffee and then hit the road, because the next location, that's gonna be a winner. Hopefully we get some decent conditions and all shall be well. Another reason why I wanted to come back here to Ireland as well was to obviously to make videos and to, you know, take nice pictures and to visit and explore and do all that wonderful stuff. But I have officially kind of released some workshops all based around Ireland. These videos are kind of like a showcase, if you will, of some of the locations that will potentially be visited on those locations. I have 3 individual workshops set up for this area: for the very southwest, which is Cork and Kerry, and then for the west, which is essentially where I am right now, and then for the northwest up in Sligo and Donegal, and so some wonderful spots picked and ready to go. So if you are interested, of course, you're most welcome to head over to the website and to peruse and see if any of those take your fancy. There's also an option as well if you wanted to, my intention was that if you wanted, or if people wanted to do a kind of back-to-back, they're 10 days, and if you had the opportunity to stay longer, you're most welcome to kind of like piggyback onto the next one. So, but for now, I will stop rambling and that shameless plug. And the newsletter, most welcome to sign up to the newsletter. So please do. I do a lot of updates there too. But for now, the rain has stopped and I'm going to go for a quick run. But anyways, if you did like the video, folks, do please give it a thumbs up. And if you fancy following along for more of this wild Atlantic Irish adventure, then you're most welcome to hit that subscribe button. And I will see you all on the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Cheers.